Be a very crucial budget to be presented by the finance minister. As you know, the macroeconomic environment is stabilized largely, and this is essentially as a result of the post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan, which has been implemented, I believe, since 2022 all the way to now. And I think that the stabilization of the macroeconomic environment is one that should be welcomed, where inflation is now in single digits, where interest rate seems to be coming down, and where the currency is largely stable. I think it's a welcome development, and we all have to encourage the Ministry of Finance and the Finance Minister to continue to tow that path, which is a path which culminated in the IMF program, which instills some level of fiscal discipline in the management of the national economy of our country. But that said, I believe that today, most Ghanaians will be looking forward to hearing from the Finance Minister to present a plan and a strategy which will spur growth, which will spur economic growth. Because yes, the indicators are all highly welcome, as I've said. The statistics are all good. But if you don't have economic growth and you don't have an expansion of the private sector and a robust private sector, you then have the difficulties and the problems we have today of unemployment, of cost of living, of cost of doing business. And so it's important that the finance minister rolls out strategies and plans to spur growth. And by that, I refer to real sector growth. We talk about services, we talk about agricultural growth, you talk about industry, you talk about manufacturing, and a robust private sector, which will generate the hundreds and thousands and millions of jobs, which the Ghanaian youth are so desperately in need of. You may have a very, good-looking Wall Street, as they say out there, and yet the main streets may be in difficulty. And you may have the figures look all good, which are welcome, and I'm not going to poo-poo them at all. But at the same time, you go to the grassroots economics, and you will find that there are difficulties. Purchasing power is low as we speak. Liquidity flow is a problem, and that is clear. Cost of living is not gone down. Cost of doing business is not gone down. Unemployment is not reduced. And real everyday lives by ordinary citizens, teachers, nurses, farmers, traders, and ordinary Ghanaians don't seem to have improved. I mean, there's no reduction in cost of living. And so we should wait and hear from the finance minister, but the country desperately, quite clearly, requires a plan and a strategy for economic growth, which will result in a reduction in cost of living, which will result in a reduction of cost of doing business in our country, which will generate the hundreds and thousands of jobs for the teeming unemployed Ghanaian youth, and which will ensure that prosperity is unleashed in our country.